you are a loving, compassionate mom. You have likely given up jobs or careers to advocate for your family, to help them with the challenges, and also to enjoy family moments together. But now there's some financial concerns going on, and you're wondering, how do I return back to the workforce, or how do I figure out how to add in a part time job, whether it's a shorter term or a long term? Today, we're going to talk about small steps you can take so you can begin working on your financial goals. Hey, friend, do the daily demands of family life leave little time for self care? Are you losing yourself in the process of caring for others? Are you ready to make self care and healthy boundaries a natural part of your day while embracing your roles as a wife and mom? Well, I'm so glad you're here. I'm Christina, married 17 years to a neurodiverse man, mom of 3 neurodiverse kids, and many more roles. Welcome to the Moms in Neurodiverse Families podcast. Get ready to begin your self-care journey. Grab your planner and listen in as we take another small step towards a peaceful, healthier you. In previous episodes, I shared the decision I made many, many years ago to stop my full-time director's job to come home with my kids. And I mentioned one of the pivotal moments in my life to make the decision was watching my son. At that time, he's about 15 months, 2 years old, spinning on the floor in a circle for 30, 45 minutes, crying and screaming. And that was a moment when I said, oh my goodness, I need to really assess and decide what to do because this is not okay. This is not good for him, not good for the family. And I made that hard choice to quit. Now, for many of us, we've gone to the grocery store and we have been shocked to see how the money we had in the past does not buy the same amount of bags of groceries as it used to. Some prices have continued to gone up. There's a little bit of stabilization, but costs have gone up, especially if you live in an area where it's cold in the wintertime or if it's hot in the summer. Your heating and cooling costs, that has increased. It's a moment where many people are looking at, how do I either stretch the money I have or add more income to what our family has. And for you, for many women I know who are in neurodiverse families, oftentimes you've quit your job. You had a career or you had a successful job. Maybe you weren't quite at the point where you felt it was a career, but you were doing something and you really enjoyed it. Or maybe you went to college for a short time and then you got your MRS degree, the Mrs. degree, and decided, you know what, I'm just going to stop and I'm going to do family life. All great choices, right? We made the best choice we could at that moment, but now maybe you're thinking, I need to get back in the workforce. Or maybe you're in a hard situation, and if this is you, I just want to preface, my heart goes out to you. Maybe you're in a situation where you're dealing with financial abuse with your spouse or other types of mistreatment, and you need to have independence for yourself and your kids. You need to be financially independent. Either one, you are staying within the relationship, but you are needing money that is not accessible to your spouse because it's maybe misplaced, misused for whatever reason. And you need to make sure that the food and medical bills and things are being covered for your family and for your kids. Or you need financial independence because it is such a dangerous and ongoing hurtful situation that you need to actually have independence, not just financially, but also in a relationship, whether that means separation or it means divorce. But you need to figure out your finances. Or maybe you need to do a short-term fix for the next 2-3 years because your family has some debt that you want to pay off. Whatever the reason is, many of us are looking at either, as I mentioned before, budgeting, making money and finances stretch longer, or getting a second job or adding an extra income, whether it's short-term or long-term. And this is something I'm very passionate about because so many women have left careers to do the hard choice of raising their kids and helping them to navigate such difficult situations in life. Helping them to understand that not all the world is attacking them, but yet when they do feel attacked, how do they process that? How do they be able to survive in the world and thrive. And along with your neurodiverse marriage, there is so much that you have put to the side to focus. But now, if you're thinking this, I need to figure out some finances, figure out how I can increase my finances, that is. Here is my suggestions for you. So my first thing is pray. I suggest that you spend the next following weeks, if you're a person of faith, to be praying and to be asking questions of yourself as you pray. Why are you considering this? Can you even add a job onto the load you're already carrying? How could you do that? What is going to be dropped? What's going to be adjusted? And also, the special thing is, why are you considering this? Is there fear? Are there reasons that are pushing you to get a job? And are they good reasons? This is very important for us because this is such a major adjustment to consider adding a job. So first, cover it in prayer. Now, second, the following steps I'm going to be talking about, I actually have used my planner for this. I have obviously launched this podcast. I'm working on my business, and having a planner to have a annual overview, like a big list of all the things that you need to do, break it down into quarterly, and then have monthly and weekly goals is so important. So I'm going to speak from personal experience how I've used my planner to do certain actions. But before we do that, first thing after you've prayed is an initial assessment. Are you looking at going into part-time or full-time? Are you wanting to do remote or in office? What are the needs of your family? If you are looking at having financial independence because of extremely difficult strife in your marriage and there's safety issues, then you're likely going more towards the full-time. And the question then would be, is it more remote or are you looking at in the office? If you have kids who can get sick often, maybe remote is better for you because there's only so much sick time that you get. And if you're in an office to get kids from school and to come home, that's a whole ordeal. So really, again, big questions, part-time or full-time, remote or in the office, or maybe it's a hybrid. What would be the optimal style of job for you in this current season of life? And for many of you, it may be remote, so that if you have younger kids, like much younger kids, you're able to still do the roles that you need to be doing. But for other, you're like, you know what? They're in school, they're decently healthy, and I need to get out of this house for my mental sanity. Yep, get it. But that's a basic assessment. Okay, next, step 2. Decide if you are returning to your previous career path or are you beginning a whole new path. This is another, imagine like there's arrows, like a road is dividing in 2 different paths. Each time we ask this question, you're going down a different path. And that's why this process, I think, is very important. If you're going down a previous career, then that's a whole different steps that you would take versus a whole new path. Previous career, if you're going down that path, you need to research what are the current requirements in that field. What are people, when you're looking at job postings in that area, and this is great, just basic research, and you're writing this would be one of those things on your to-do list. You're going to do research on what are the requirements on current job postings in this area I currently work in, and read through those and be very honest and authentic and say what matches up and what does not match up. And what is lacking, what is needed, that is going to be part of your to-do list in the future. Next, what state associations in your field could you join? Being on that email list, getting updates, what the current trends or problems are is so important to get your mind into that mindset, but also oftentimes there are job postings that will be shared in those state associations. And working towards to attend a state conference or a training, because networking, this is the next key thing, networking is queen when it comes to jobs. It is the people that you know. It is so important. And so I would highly suggest that if you have not done this yet, is create a LinkedIn, LinkedIn profile, depending upon what your background is, and begin looking for people that you know and making those connections. there has been research showing that so many of the jobs are happening because of people that the job searcher knows, the connections they have, whether it's in their family or friends network or their professional network. So I highly suggest that. And then you're going to be looking at what are the certifications and the skills you need to update. In fact, LinkedIn, depending upon the position that you were previously, you can look at other people in the field and see what experiences, what certification skills do they have, and you begin to add those to your own to-do list. So again, this was all for if you're returning to a previous career. So you'd be making a great big list of all these different items. Like as you're jotting down, I wanted to make a LinkedIn profile. I want to do researching on current jobs and what are the requirements. I want to see if there's a state association. And in my planner, what I do is that I break it down into what can I realistically do in a quarter, in a month. And there were some times in my life, especially when I was dealing with so many different health issues, that joining a state association, that might have been just 1 month right there, because I knew that every week I'd have a few moments each in a week to research like what associations are out there and then joining and the payment. So you may have to really space out these tasks, or if you feel the pressure and you have the energy, you're able to push them through. But really making that to-do list and begin looking at your schedule and seeing what could I do in this month. And but then also, what day are you going to work on this? Where is that time you're going to carve this out? Because if you wait for time to happen between meltdowns, that is hard. We have to carve this time out. And whether that means that we are getting up a little earlier, that means that we are using some lunchtime, being creative and finding that time to do it. Now, if you are saying, Christina, my career path, I hated it. I don't want to go back to that. No way. Or, things have changed so much. Like I loved it before, but now what it is, I don't even want to go back into that at all. So you're looking at a whole new path. So the world is your oyster, my friend. But that is very daunting because that is so many options, right? So we need to narrow it down. My first suggestion is you can look at books such as What Color is Your Parachute, which that is a very, very research-based, on your own process that I have loved, but I also used that in a time in my life before I was married and had no kids. So that will likely not be the option for many of you, but I do want to mention that resource because there are great questions they ask. Like, do you prefer working with things, with people, or with data? Because that right there, that's probably a great question for you to consider. Do you prefer working with your hands, where you're fixing items, maybe you're baking, you're cooking, or you're gifted in woodwork, in some of those crafting skills, or you prefer people, or really is it data? You love the information. That will really tell you a lot if you can pick your main area, and from there it diverts down, because sometimes something might sound exciting, but when you really look at the details of a job, you're like, oh my gosh, that is all information, and that is on a computer all the time, not talking to anyone. I would hate that. So just think about that. Are you more of a working with things with your hands? Are you more of a people? You love interactive with people, or information and data? And yet, What Color is Your Parachute asks so many great questions and really gets nitty gritty. But I feel for many of you, you need more of a quicker, simpler method. Not because you're not smart, it's because time is such a luxury. So there's two different resources that I'm going to refer you to. One is Dave Ramsey has a career advice that is free. It is, I'll put the link in the show notes, and it's basic information and even some guides on how you can decipher which direction to be going towards. Now, if you're wanting something that's more of an assessment, like Christina, friend, I need you to tell me what is the quickest method for me, and I'm willing to invest some money, then I would suggest the Get Clear Career Assessment for Career Change. It's $35, and that would be a method for you to get like what your interests and your passions are. Now, all these resources I'm talking about so far has been more geared towards full-time employment. You are needing a full-time job or possibly a professional part-time job. If you have not gone to school, if you have really basically you grew up, you got married and you was kids, so you're in a whole different range of experiences, then we're looking at more what are your, I still encourage you to be looking at the Dave Ramsey website, looking at your life skills. Really, when you look at what you do in a day, there's things you excel at, and it could be organization, administration, but it's hidden because you're doing normal mom stuff. But you have these skill sets, and once you begin figuring that out, you can get, there's people who would love to have someone who's able to help them in the smallest things, from organize their home to there is people who cleaning homes to working online and helping manage online communities. There's a lot of different options out there. So again, the question is, do you need a part-time or full-time job? Second thing, are you wanting to be more remote, or do you want to be as in working from your home, or do you want to go into an office? And I feel like this, you can pick your own type of career thing, really gives so many options, because I see many women who, you're not looking for full-time, you're looking for a part-time option. And for you, if it was $20, $25 an hour and you could work from home, that would be great. So really begin, like, envision what that's like, and then writing down the steps. So again, if you're going like the world's my oyster, I can pick anything I want, there is less direction, but so many options for you. But I really highly encourage you to just begin writing down, like, one, the first step is going to be, what direction am I going towards? What field am I feel like I'm interested in? Doing some reading, do some research, and keep writing down these to-do lists. Once you get further in and you know, I really want to work with people, I know I want it to be remote, and I want it to be part-time, then you can begin working down to-do lists of narrowing down the specific type of job that you want. Is it customer service? There's people who would love to have someone else who's just really good at customer service, answering questions, scheduling appointments. So I highly encourage you, like, don't feel defeated if you're like, oh, I'm just a stay-at-home mom, or, I've been at home for so long, I really don't have any skills. Like, no. This is where Christina's showing tough love and saying, you have advocated and you have cared, you have navigated the medical field, you've navigated the school system, and you have worked so hard for your kids and for your spouse. You have found ways to keep your family together. This is something that takes tenacity. It takes ability to organize. You have many skills, and now you just have to take those skills and transfer it over into another area. So how would it look like if you began this process? And this process may take a whole year. And that's why I love using my planner, because every month I had a theme of what I was working on, and I took that task for that 1 month and I broke it down to tiny, tiny steps. So for example, if it was, I really don't know what I want to do, then it'd be career research would be, for that month, would be the theme. And week 1 would be, go to the Dave Ramsey Career Advice website and read through it. And I would have the same goal for week 1 and week 2 and week 3. And then week 4 would be take action. So either I would be having a couple of tasks that I wanted to be doing after all that reading, or maybe I'm thinking, like, you know what, I'm going to do that career assessment that was for $35. I'm going to do that. And then the next month is going to be, you're doing that career assessment and you're going to block, maybe you say, Christina, I have so much going on. You're going to give yourself 4 to 6 months to fill it out. That is okay. It may even take you a year, but Do you want to be a year from now in the same place you are right now? So this is something I ask myself. Do I want to be in this exact same place 1 year from now? Because if I don't, how glad would I be if I took 6 small steps and then I look back over the year and say, wow, I now know what area I want to be working in. I've developed a resume, and the job didn't come right away because you just didn't have the capacity, but you got started. Or for you, you're like, nope, this has to happen right away. And you focus. It could be within 3 months that you're starting to get a job. It all depends upon what area you're looking at developing in. Unfortunately, some of the job market, it is harder. The more professional of the job that you had, the longer time it can take to find a job. But there are a lot of people looking for jobs out there. They want a real person who is willing to connect and network and be available and help out with their company. So let me know if these steps were helpful breaking it down. Again, real quick recap. You're going to pray. Number 2, you're going to get a notebook, a planner, and you're going to begin breaking these things down into steps, writing down notes, because don't rely on our memories to remember this. We have so many things we're keeping track of. You're going to do an assessment, part-time, full-time, remote, or in the office. What is it that you need for your family? Are you going to be returning to a previous career path, or are you doing a whole new one? And whichever path you go down towards, what is needed to get you in that direction? And don't be discouraged by the tiny steps you take. Don't be discouraged that it takes something that for other people, they update their resume and they do it within 1 day. It may take you a month, and that is okay. That is fine. You are doing such hard work every single day. But the point is that you continue moving forward in this area because of why. Why do you need to do it? If you're looking at debt, if you're looking at that you need to have financial independence for safety reasons, or there's a medical surgery of some sort that your kids need, whatever that why is, that will help you be able to move forward in small steps. And that's why I said to pray about this and considering why you're doing it. Because if your why of wanting to get a job is like everyone else's, but it's not personal to you, it's going to be very hard for you to carve out time for this. But if your why is laser focused and if it connects with your heart, you're going to find time to schedule out that time. And that's why I'm so excited for my planner to come out, because this is how I made progress in so many areas of my life. I focus on the tiniest steps every single week. The tiniest, like I'm talking so tiny. And it added up over time. So there's power in that. I would love to hear from you what you're thinking if you're looking at adding a career or just adding a part-time job. What questions do you have? And if I'm able to help you, I would love to do so. Hey, thank you for joining me today. I pray this episode gave you encouragement to take one small step. If so, please leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts to help other women find this show. By the way, if you're loving this conversation and want more encouragement like this, join my email list at bit.ly/myselfcare. That is bit.ly/myselfcare. I have a planner launching soon that will help you put all this into action in your own life. I look forward to chatting with you again next week for another episode.